Well, welcome to Fayetteville, Arkansas, home of the Razorbacks. Outside, snowing, sleeting, rain. Inside Bud Walton Arena, a different story. We've got a red-hot matchup here this afternoon. The 6-1 Razorbacks welcome in one of the best in the mid-major business, the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Alongside Mark Wise, I'm Sam Ravitch. Mark, we've got about 16 NBA scouts in the building tonight, and despite popular belief, they're not here for you and me.
Daniel Gafford is as good as any big in the country at changing ends of the floor, a sprinter's ability, and a guy 6'11". Gafford has a high motor, but what I love most, his passion for the game. He can impact winning in a lot of ways.
He's going to go up against another freshman making waves in the NCAA, Charles Bassey, 6'11" freshman center. Leads Conference USA, 2.4 block shots per game, coming off his fourth career double-double against Missouri State, and we've only played 8 games, Mark.
Sam, if you love watching talented bigs work block to block, this is a great matchup.
Going with a 2-man referee crew here this afternoon, Brian Shea and Will Howard. Robert Felder is out, was in a car accident earlier today. Everybody walked okay, fine from that, but still a lot of running for these two referees and two teams that like to run the court.
You think the coaches will give them any slack because of that?
That's a good question. Maybe have a substitution. But yes, 2 referees here today getting ready for tip here in a ruckus Bud Walton Arena. It may be finals week pretty soon, but students out ready to cheer on their Razorbacks, team that has won 6 in a row. And the Hogs win the tip. Straight ahead to Gafford, down low, and he finishes picking up right where he left off.
The young freshman Bassey got caught early on, turning his head defensively, did not know where the ball was.
Take a look at the Western Kentucky starting lineup, a fairly young team. Tavion Hollingsworth will lead the way, averaging 17 points per game, number 11 in red. This Arkansas defense is pesky and will be. One of the things that head coach Mike Anderson talks about is just how good this defense has gotten over the last couple of games and the cohesiveness. Arkansas starting lineup, no seniors on this roster, plenty of freshmen as well. Just a couple of juniors. Adriel Bailey, one of those leaders on this team. Gafford in his second year here in Arkansas. Double team down low, out to Jones for 3. Off the mark, Bailey fouled on the attempted rebound, and ball will stay with the Hogs.
One of the new parts of Gafford's game is being able to handle the double team. It was on the catch. Mike Anderson's big guy. He is a special talent.
There's head coach Mike Anderson, now in his 8th season at the helm for the Hogs. 2 consecutive NCAA tournament appearances.
Here's a zone. One of the challenges for Western Kentucky today, controlled tempo.
Cross court to Jalen Harris. Isaiah Joe for 3, and he's hit. Joe will go to the line. As we said, in his 8th season. Done a really good job with this program here, 17th season as a head coach. And Mark, maybe you could talk about what he's been able to do with this young group of freshmen and talented freshmen that he has.
Loves them. When he talked to us earlier today, talked about the chemistry and how well they've worked together. Now, it helps when you knock down shots. And Joe and Jones have been shooting the 3-ball at a high level. Wow.
Not so great from the free throw line this year, Mark. That was one thing that Mike Anderson said, we got to work on this. We got to make the free buckets.
Just 63% as a team, but Joe, who doesn't go to the line a lot, was 8 for 10.
Joe makes 1 of 3 from the free throw line, and Arkansas out to a 3-0 lead. This press is going to cause problems for Western Kentucky if they can't inbound the ball, and very good defensively. They are also missing one of their really important players. Lamonte Bearden is out, was ruled academically ineligible. This is the final game they will be without him, and he averaged almost 12 points per game last year.
And more importantly, in his career, he has 400 assists. So you're taking away the guy that kind of calms everything down,
right,
gets other guys involved offensively. This will be a huge challenge for Western today. Can they handle the pressure, maybe look for early offense, but then be willing to settle and score, make sure that Bassey gets touches on the half court.
Banton driving, he's fouled on the drive. Foul will be on Mason Jones. Head coach for Western Kentucky is Rick Stansberry, very familiar with SEC play. Head coach at Mississippi State. Led the Hilltoppers to a 27-11 record last year, their most wins since 2007-2008. Down low, there's Charles Bassey, and the big man getting it going early on.
Again, we're going to see two potential first-round draft picks go at it today, block to block.
Isaiah Joe doing Isaiah Joe things, the reigning SEC Player of the Week, dropping his first tray.
And he's a catch-and-shoot guy.
Look out, off to the races. Harris slams it home.
Against the pressure, you better fake a pass to make a pass.
Bud Walton Arena has come alive, 8-2. Arkansas out in front in the early goings. Rick Stansberry trying to calm down his young team as well. Down low to Bassey, a mismatch there on Harris.
Caught it with both feet in the paint. Here's our first look at the Western 1-3-1. I call it the old Kermit Davis zone because they'll morph into a 2-3. Oh,
Joe.
my goodness.
Isaiah Joe was 10 for 13 from three-point range against FIU, had 34 points, and he's just picking it up where he left off.
It's a quick release, Sam, but it's quiet.
Adriel Bailey got in the face there. Bassey offensive rebound, puts it back up. No good, tapped around, and bringing it down is Isaiah Joe, getting it done on both ends of the court. The young freshman. Joe to Harris. Harris drives the paint, a free lane, and it's good. Avoids the contact from Bassey.
One of the things that is really impressive about Arkansas in the early going, their ability to make the extra pass. Be willing to set up a teammate better than the place that you had it.
Thrown away by Dalton there. Arkansas out to an early lead. 83 shooting from the field. Isaiah Joe.
You want to beat the pressure, throw over to a guy like Joe. And then on top, the extra pass, which leads to defensive rotation. That's where the offense, when you make that extra pass and have good ball reversal, the offense is better than the defense.
Taken away by Tavion Hollingsworth, who lays it in. And that is something that the Arkansas Razorbacks do not do very often. They have one of the best assist to turnover ratios in all of NCAA. Out to Bassey now in front. He lays it in transition.
I love these two bigs. I love the way they run the floor. Rim run right down Main Street.
Harris, a floater in the lane. Back and forth we go. We knew this was going to be a high-octane offense game.
I don't think we're going to worry about the shot clock too many possessions.
Hollingsworth, step back for three. Off the back iron, and Joe out to the races. Here's Jones driving. Blocked by Hollingsworth, and Gafford is there to clean it up.
Big guy trailing the play, never gives up. Love his passion, as I mentioned in the open. Came back to Arkansas after flirting with the NBA draft process and has really elevated his game to another level.
This Arkansas team averaging over 90 points per game in the last 6 wins. Mark, what does Arkansas, or rather, what does Western Kentucky have to do to try and slow down this offense? Well, that's really the question.
Yeah, they've got to slow down their own offense. Too many quick shots. That plays into the Hogs' hands.
17-8. Banton helped up. Daniel Gafford has been helping out this Arkansas team. Following this one up, Mark.
Again, Daniel Gafford runs the floor as well as any big in the country. Arkansas out early.
Centerville, Arkansas. The Hogs out to an early 17-8 lead here in the first half. This is a very new and young team, Mark, that has a lot of freshmen, but they're making really big impacts in the first couple games of the season.
Well, when we talked to Mike Anderson about the new pieces, whether you're talking about Isaiah Joe and the way that he's shooting the ball, or a Jalen Harris and his assist totals, or Mason Jones and the way that he has developed into a scorer, it's that unselfish play, the chemistry between these new guys that Mike Anderson is so high on. Because of all that, Arkansas, in my mind, Sam, has been the surprise team of the SEC in the early going.
They certainly have been playing very well the last couple of games, and you can make the argument, too, they could be an undefeated team. They lost to Texas right out of the gate in the first game of the season. Hollingsworth drops down to 3, but you could make the argument this could be the undefeated team in the SEC.
One possession away. Hollingsworth shoots with such confidence as well for the Hilltoppers. Here's Gafford again against the double.
Can't get that to go, and Western Kentucky out in the break. Anderson is fouled on the drive, the baseline. Josh Anderson, the 6'6" sophomore guard from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
You mentioned earlier Western Kentucky is without Bearden. Because of that, Savage, number 2 in red, has already picked up 2 fouls, but he is continuing to play because Rick Stansbury's shorthanded in the backcourt to begin with.
Right, and again, this is the last game that Lamonte Bearden will not play in. And head coach Stansbury said that's going to be a welcome back to having that scoring and also the passing. Delano Banton's pass is knocked away. It's going to stay with Western Kentucky.
Yeah, I'd like to see Western with a little more spacing in their pick and roll action. A lot of bodies bunched together.
Picked up by Arkansas and down the other way. Desi Sills has entered the game, 0 in white. As has Reggie Chaney. This Arkansas team makes plenty of substitutions. They run the floor. Chaney mid-range, drops it down. Reggie Chaney, the 6'8" freshman from Tulsa, Oklahoma, making an impact in some meaningful minutes.
He's coming off his best game of the year at Colorado State, set a career high with 11 points, 8 rebounds in 19 minutes. That kind of production, it'll get you more playing time.
Western Kentucky trying to get their offense going, and another turnover. As we said, 2 officials are doing this game here today, Brian Shea and Will Howard. Robert Felder is out, and they're going to have to do a lot of running here today, Mark.
Yeah, here's the shaded area at the bottom of the screen. That's where the third official would operate from. So these guys are going to have to kind of adjust on the fly.
Not easy to do. Osaboyan can't handle it. Gabe Osaboyan, the 6'8" sophomore forward from Canada, has been a great help defensively for this team. That ball went right through his hands.
There's a little game within the game. When one coach takes out his big-time big, the other one also did. So this is almost now the battle of the backup bigs.
Down low to Deshaun Murray, who has his shot blocked by Chaney. And it'll stay with the Hilltoppers.
Arkansas being a presence defensively, it's always the second guy, the help guy, that gets the highlight blocks. And that time, it was Chaney coming over weak side. (19-11). Under 12:40 left to go. 6 on the shot clock. Pass is knocked away. And it'll stay with the Hilltoppers, much to the surmise of head coach Mike Anderson. Thought that was going the other way. Those kind of pinball plays will be one of the challenges for the two-man officiating crew today. Trust me, they don't want to see those kind of plays either. 4 on the shot clock. Hilltoppers need to get a shot off. Hollingsworth steps back, misses the rim entirely. That's going to be a shot clock violation. So far we've seen the Hilltoppers play a 2-3 zone. We've seen them in a 1-3-1. Now they're settled back into the 2-3. They're going to try and slow the Hogs down a little bit.
Embry Simpson from long range off the mark. Eshawn Embry Simpson, one of the first off the bench for this Razorback team.
He too was really good at Colorado State in that road win. He made 4 of 5 from bonus land.
This is one of the better three-point shooting teams, not only in the SEC, but in the nation. Anderson drives baseline, and a block foul is going to be called.
How about that?
The, number 22, Gabe Osaboyan.
How about that finish by Josh Anderson, giving Western Kentucky a little lift off the bench. The left-handed finish going to the right, takes the contact for the end one opportunity.
Oh, welcome back here into Bud Walton Arena. The Arkansas Razorbacks out to a 19-13 lead here in the first. Tonight at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, number 8 Auburn, Bruce Pearl-led team takes on the Dayton Flyers. It's also live on the ESPN app. Today, not such a great day in the SEC so far, Mark.
I'm a little surprised that South Carolina, who is really struggling to score, they did manage 78 points on in that road game at Michigan. Kentucky gave up a three-point shot with 11 seconds to go and loses by 1. Florida controlled tempo against Michigan State, but the Gator offensive woes continue, just shooting 37%. So a slow start for the league in what was a great round of games on this Saturday in the non-conference.
Well, I think also that could just make even a further statement to Arkansas's credit if they can take down Western Kentucky and be one of the only teams to come away with a solid victory in the SEC in this great slate of games today.
I kind of felt like the first segment got away from Western Kentucky. It was way too fast. But the second segment, they've kind of settled in now, got the fight more in the middle of the ring.
5 turnovers on behalf of the Hilltoppers so far. Anderson to the line, try to complete his and one. He will not. Cheney up with the board. For 3 in the corner, no dice for Harris, and a foul on the rebound.
It's a late whistle, but it's the right call. Foul on Anderson on the rebound try by Bailey inside. Another good look for Harris at the corner. He's really struggled at the arc this year for Arkansas. He's the only guy struggling.
Adrio Bailey misses his first free throw. Yeah, Harris came into this game 2 for 16 from beyond the arc. Arkansas really struggling from the free throw line here early on. Been able to get to the line, but now just 1 for 5 from the line. Desi Sills stripped that away.
Quick hands of Sills there. I thought that ball might have gone back off Nelson's leg.
Desi Sills, another one of those guys that brings the energy off the bench. The bench was a very big part in head coach Mike Anderson's part. When we were talking to him this morning, he said Desi Sills plays a big part off the bench. Reggie Cheney guarding the ball right now. The bench plays a big part in all these wins for Arkansas. Hollingsworth fires up a 3. That comes up short. And Bailey can't save it as he flies into the first row there.
That's a bailout shot by Hollingsworth. Late clock situation. Instead of a step back, which comes up short about 90% of the time in college, drive the ball to the rim. See if you can get feet in the paint, attract defenders, find a teammate.
Here's Desi Sills from long range, and that goes off the top. Western Kentucky ball.
One of the things that Arkansas cannot do against this 2-3 zone is get 3 happy. Weak spots of the 2-3, the free throw line area, the short corner. Ball must go in one of those two spots if you want to have a high level of success.
Delano Banton double teamed. He'll hand it off to Anderson. Anderson driving down low, slamming it home. Tolu Smith.
Too easy. Nobody stopped the ball. Anderson took advantage.
Arkansas's offense has fallen a bit flat, Mark. How do they get it back going?
Well, again, it starts on the defensive end, getting stops first. But again, there's the short corner, but you have to be able to pass out of it.
A couple of turnovers as well for the Razorbacks. That's their third. Anderson will pull up and get fouled. That'll be on Adriel Bailey.
Let's go back earlier in the game, Sam. We talked about Bassi and his ability to run the floor. Watch as he rolls to the basket inside. Look at his 2 feet. Gafford is high out of the play, takes advantage of the mismatch. If the big guy's going to catch it in there, that is an easy deuce. Breakdown defensively, guarding Bassi by Arkansas.
Big man getting some rest. Coming back in is Gafford. Still on the bench is Charles Bassi.
I think Anderson's been the X factor here off the bench for Western Kentucky.
Can't convert on the second free throw. Both teams shooting under 50%, in the 40s from the field.
So hold inside, trying to keep up with Gafford. But notice Mike Anderson brings Gafford back in. So what does Rick Stansberry do? He brings Bassi back in. Fun stuff. The chess match within the chess match.
Isaiah Joe for 3, off the mark, trying to tap it back in. Harris elevated there. Josh Anderson had 12 points in the loss to Missouri State last night. Delano Banton in trouble. He'll give to Anderson with 12 left on the shot clock. Hilltoppers trying to make something of this offense. Stripped away by Bailey.
I'm watching Bassi not only screen but re-screen for a big guy who just turned 18 years old on October 28th. That is a maturity that you don't see often. He understood his first screen didn't work, repositioned himself for the re-screen.
And that kind of basketball IQ is something that all 16 NBA scouts here tonight will be watching for sure. 3 on the shot clock, 2 off balance, shot in and out. Anderson almost got it to go.
That almost went.
Harris goes court.
All guards understand to play at different speeds. This is exactly what Jalen Harris gives. Watch as he attacks the defender at one speed, then the blow by and the finish off the window. It's this hesitation that allowed him to get all the way to the rim.
Harris converts the and one, had a season high 12 assists the last time out. Head coach Mike Anderson was saying his favorite part of the game is to pass the ball.
Now this is Mike Anderson's worst nightmare. Bad foul by Gafford. 75 feet from the basket. And you could see his reaction, throw his hands up. He said Gafford did a lot of that last year. Has really cut down on that. Because if you pick up early fouls, I've got news for Gafford or anybody else. It's hard to score and be productive from the bench.
Good matchup down low. Bassi wins that one. What'd you see there from the young freshman?
Doing his work early. He got Gafford on his hip and just kept him there. His footwork is marvelous.
Harris, the floater in the lane, no good. Takes it right back behind the back of Jones. There you see the quick hands of Jalen Harris. Strips it right away and finds his man.
I really feel like Murray got confused. Felt like that was a teammate, but it wasn't. Jalen Harris. Arkansas wanted shots there, but the officials were saying no on the floor.
Again, 2 officials as opposed to the normal 3 officials here in this game.
I was kidding with them before the game. I said, at least you got 2 teams that want to really slow it down and play in the half court.
Now, not the case with these 2. Razorbacks will continuously use as many players from the bench as possible. That's going the other way with Western Kentucky.
Energy guy, Anderson, for the Hilltoppers. He's been really good.
Hollingsworth leads the way for Western Kentucky with 5. Anderson right there with 3. There is Anderson on the wing. Guarded by Gafford. Adriel Bailey down low trying to hold on to Bassi. Bassi will come out and slip. Delano Banton will throw up a 3. That's no good. And a foul down low going the other way.
I think this is going to be on Murray inside on the weak side glass. Western doesn't mind playing late in the clock, but they still have to figure out a way that Bassi gets a touch. And
head coach Rick Stansberry, I can imagine as he makes a sub here, Merrick Nelson will come in. 1 for 7 from beyond the arc, and this is a team that will shoot 36% from 3. Not gotten off to a great start here early on.
They don't really take a lot of threes, just 14, a little more than 14 a game. That may change when Bearden returns and they get their true point guard back. See here again, controlling tempo. Arkansas settles into the zone for the first time.
The Razorbacks set up in a 2-3.
They're missing Bassi inside.
Nelson will pull up mid-range and convert his first points of the game. Down to Gafford, who has his pass knocked away. Well, Bassi and Joe have really led the way for both of these teams. 22-20 is our score. Here's Isaiah Joe. He's knocked down a couple of trays. And the young freshman Bassi on the other end getting it done. Welcome back to Fayetteville. Western Kentucky has brought it within 2. They're on a 9-2 run. And much of that has been because of the big man matchup here, Charles Bassi and Daniel Gafford.
A top 10 recruit from last season who reclassified. He's just 18 years old, but has a high basketball IQ. I love the way he runs the floor and can post up inside. He's got great soft hands for a young big. On the other hand, Daniel Gafford, I talked about this, he runs the floor as well as any big in the country. He can change in as well as any big in the country. As a result, he is a dunking machine. 75 dunks a year ago, already has 26 this season. Great big man matchup.
It certainly is. I think Bassi has been playing a little bit better. What does Arkansas need to do to get their big man going?
Well, he's not going to get Gafford is not going to get as many touches because of the three-point shooting. But now can Arkansas be patient enough offensively to get what they want against the zone? How about that rim protection?
Bassi with the block. Averages 2.4 a game.
They're missing him inside. Finally did see it.
Charles Bassi, 10 points already here in this first half.
How impressive is that? Rim protecting on one end, scoring on the other.
Isaiah Joe, another 3.
Zone buster, isn't he?
3 for 5.
Release.
3 for 5 for Isaiah Joe here in the first half.
See, I don't like that quick look by the Hilltoppers. Let Bassi get involved. Looks like Western is going makes and misses. What that means when they make a shot, they're in zone. When they miss, they fall back man to man.
Joe's shot off the back iron. Under 7 to go here in the first half. Western Kentucky has kept it close, to their credit. Went on a 9-2 run. Now they're starting to turn it over a little bit more.
That's one you've got to handle. It was a great screen on the weak side.
Gafford looking for help in the corner.
What this changing of defenses has done, it's got Arkansas a little off kilter in terms of, are they in man, are they in zone, what should we run?
This trap has caused problems for Western Kentucky, able to break it there.
Now see, that's a shot I think Nelson needs to take. He hasn't taken one on the year, but that you can't pass up a corner three that's wide open.
Delano Banton running the point in the interim. Down low to Bassey. Gafford falls for the fake and a foul called.
Boy, Bassey's ability to hold off Gafford, catch and receive a pass with either hand, really impressive.
Well, we built up this matchup, Bassey and Gafford. Who's winning the matchup right now?
Right now, you would have to say Bassey, the young fella, putting on quite a show here on the road.
10 points for the freshman, 2 rebounds.
Mike Anderson is struggling to figure out what can his team do defensively to eliminate Bassey from the equation. Yeah, I'm never a fan of not putting guys on the free throw line. It's something different.
Western Kentucky has 7 fouls as a team. Arkansas with 6. And Bassey converts.
He's solid at the line, 67%. Here's the 1-3-1 again. So they'll trap out of it and then fall back into a 2-3. See the hesitation there by Jones. Should I have shot that or not?
Decides to shoot this one. Off the front iron, follows it up, reverse, and good.
That's the difficulty of the zone. No block out responsibility. Good job by Jones seeking his own miss.
Into the corner, Savage drains a 3. Jared Savage, the 6'5" redshirt junior, transferred from Austin Peay University in the spring of 2017.
That's a good sign for Western Kentucky because he struggled in their road game at Missouri State. 1 for 9, 1 for 4 from the arc.
Hilltoppers back within 3, under 5 to go in the first. Tavion Hollingsworth will slow it up. Hollingsworth's only got 5 points in the first half. He's leading the team, averaging over 17. Savage from long range, no good. Not a great shot there.
And you had Gafford on him, why not drive?
Down low to Gafford, turns and converts.
We are watching two bigs do their work early inside, and when they do and they catch or receive the pass with both feet in the paint, it is lights out.
Gafford's got 6, Bassey with 11. Anderson trying to look for Bassey. He wanted it up. And it's going to stay with Western Kentucky.
It's the right call. The ball was tipped. Late pick and roll. The pass by Anderson. Ooh, I thought it was tipped. Looking at it again, I'm not sure that Joe got a fingernail on that or not.
7 on the shot clock. Tipped away, Gafford down with it. Off to the races goes Arkansas. Cheney.
That's what the Hogs can do. Defense into offense.
And right into the press. Bud Walton Arena on their feet. Down low, Bassey. Blocked by Gafford. Isaiah Joe on the break. Jones. And a foul going the other way, extended that arm.
We talk about when your offense is struggling, look to your defense. It's Gafford with the deflection. He saves it, the pass ahead, and the finish. When the Hogs allow their defense to help out their offense, man, can they get it out in transition.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, Arkansas on an 11-4 run over the last couple of minutes. They're up 32-26. Jalen Harris, the 6'2 guard, in transition, going coast to coast, Mark.
Well, it's not home plate to first base, but it's kind of like that. The only reason this isn't quicker going coast to coast, because of that little hesitation around the free throw line and the blow-by. But Jalen Harris, who has that marvelous assist-to-turnover ratio, ranked second in the NCAA, the entire country, redshirted a year ago. Remember that Arkansas had all those older guys a season ago.
Yeah, Harris leads the Razorbacks in all the SEC in assists, averaging 7.3 assists per game. At a season high, 12 assists last time out against Colorado State. Only 2 turnovers in that game as well.
The officials let us know that they went to the monitor during the timeout to look at that play by Jones, because as he fumbled the ball out of bounds, there was, I guess they're saying excessive contact. Let's take another look, because they're going to rule that this is a flagrant one. So Jones fumbles the transition, and then does throw his arm out, no question. That's a great call. That is excessive by definition, which in turn gets you a flagrant one. 2 shots and the ball.
Now that will quell the 11-4 run by Arkansas, and Hollingsworth to the line.
Just when you thought Bud Walton was going to start getting in a frenzy, kind of a momentum killer for the guys in white.
Head coach Mike Anderson in his 8th season, 0 losing seasons in 25 years at the helm.
There's a different press, little 2-2-1. This is a zone. They'll look to trap around midcourt.
Desi Sills back in the game too.
But still falling back man-to-man.
There's Bassey, finds a lane, kicks it out to Banton for 3. No good, Gafford pulls it down.
Great look though by Bassey. That's one Banton's got to make.
Harris driving, kicks out to Joe from long range, in and out.
Sam, even when he misses, it looks good. He has got a super quiet release. And I think all great shooters share that in common.
Do you think that's something that can translate to the next level too?
No question. He's got the size. Keep shooting the ball at this rate. I was about to say, if Bassey makes that 3 ball, that's almost not fair. Now he can do that. He's 3 for 6 on the year.
Chaney has his shot blocked by Anderson. .210 left to go here in the first half. Stripped away, Isaiah Joe off to the races. And he converts, and the foul. Isaiah Joe with the and one. He's slow to get up.
This is where not having a true point guard comes into play for Western Kentucky. It's kind of a sloppy handoff. One-handed. Teammate didn't cut to get open. As a result, Joe leads the play.
Ooh.
And that's a hard foul. Compounding the issue by Anderson, which I think will allow the officials to go over and look at that.
The question is, do you think that's excessive?
I think so, because it's above the shoulders, and that's kind of always the litmus test.
Right.
Does the action, is it excessive in nature to be a flagrant one, and does it happen above the shoulders?
It's going to be under official review. A reminder, we do only have 2 officials in this game.
Took another look from on high. Remember, intent plays no role in this. There's no question that Anderson was going for the block, but all he gets is the head. I have to believe this is going to be a flagrant one. Matter of fact, I don't have a lot of doubt.
Right. Ryan Shea and Will Howard, 2 referees here today talking it over.
But you may have in play here is you still have the and one free throw. So are you going to have the flagrant one,
yep,
2 free throws, and then the and one? I'm sure that's what they're discussing.
Take another look here. Isaiah Joe fouled hard by Josh Anderson. It's that right arm going to the head. And somehow, he's still able to make the basket, even though there was some hard contact.
Yeah, I'm just curious if they're debating whether or not this is a flagrant 2 in nature. Flagrant 1, excessive and unnecessary. In order to be a flagrant 2, it would have to be severe or extreme, and I don't get that in that play. I mean, he was trying to make a basketball play.
Head coach Rick Stansbury's talking this over. Now this is being ruled a flagrant 2. That's what it's being ruled.
But take another look.
Flagrant 2 has been assessed. And because of that, Josh Anderson has been ejected. So Anderson will leave. There's a big spark plug for Western Kentucky, had 3 points, and because of the flagrant 2 again, has been ejected from the game.
Yeah, that's a tough blow for Western Kentucky. They've ruled that to be severe in nature, which is a flagrant 2, which is 2 free throws and the ball. I'm not sure I agree with that.
Well, like you were saying, there was no doubt of whether or not it was a flagrant 1 in your mind, but the 2 assessed, Anderson ejected, and Joe to the line.
And what happens in this process is you lose the and one free throw. The flagrant 2 trumps that. So Joe gets the 2 free throws, and then Arkansas gets the ball.
I guess the other question now for Rick Stansbury, who's, like we were saying, already missing Lamonte Bearden. You lose another guard, and Anderson, now what do you do?
Now you try to survive. Get to the locker room with the lead as it is at 8 or even better. Western has really done a nice job slowing the tempo of the game down, and they've got the tempo under control. Now can they get to the locker room even more shorthanded?
Isaiah Joe, 12 points, leads the way for Arkansas. And a deep inbound for the Razorbacks.
Western back to the 2-3.
Desi Sills back in the game as well, the 6'2 freshman. Gives it to Chaney Harris from long range. No good. He continues to struggle from beyond the arc.
That's textbook execution offensively. The ball got into the soft spot of the zone. The kick out was on point. That's a shot and a possession you can live with.
Savage from deep, and he drains it. Savage 2 for 3 from beyond the arc. He's got 6 tonight.
Good execution by the Hilltoppers in their half-court set. Arkansas got caught in rotation.
Mark, we've seen a lot of different defenses from Western Kentucky. What's been the one that has been more efficient?
Well, I think the 2-3 has definitely slowed the pace of the game down.
Gafford able to bring it down, gets fouled on his way back up.
Talked about Western Kentucky executing in their half court. Watch the screen on the ball and then a down screen there by Bassie. Savage has all day to measure the shot. Little screen the screener action using Bassey in both screens.
Third foul, however, on Jared Savage. Gafford to the line and able to convert. And Mark, you were able to ask Coach earlier, what was one part of Gafford's game that you think needs improving? And the free throw line is always something you can improve on.
Yeah, 58%. He needs to at least get that to 67. As a big, you've got to be able to knock down at least 2 out of every 3. Nothing wrong with the stroke, is it? Looks good.
Arkansas up by 7, 38-31. A minute left to go here in the first half.
Go quick, go 2 for 1.
Hollingsworth will try to drive, pulls back, and converts from the elbow.
I love it. Love the call by Rick Stansberry.
Isaiah Joe looks down low to Gafford. On the post, double team, kicks to Joe for 3. Isaiah Joe.
Sometimes the smartest play is the simplest play. Gafford looked opposite, but that corner 3 was right in front of him, and he delivered, and Joe delivered.
Isaiah Joe 4 for 7 from beyond the arc. He's got 16 in the first half. 10 left to go here in the first. Banton driving, one hand, no good. And Chaney will throw it away. Arkansas up ahead 41-33 in the first half. We'll toss it back to the studio. We'll be back for the second half after this. This team in playing meaningful minutes. We got a chance to talk to head coach Mike Anderson before this game this morning during the shoot around, and he was saying Isaiah Joe has that next level talent and will play meaningful minutes this year, and you're seeing why. Not just from beyond the arc, but able to create in space at and one with contact. Down low to Bassey here to start off the second half. Gafford up to block. The foul is going to be called on Adrio Bailey, however.
Bassey just understands how to play down in that high rent district. The pass led him into the paint, but watch, show the ball, got Gafford to bite on the fake, and then after fumbling the ball, Gafford fouls along the way.
Bassey's got 12 points. What part of this young freshman's game are you most impressed with? Because he can do it all.
Well, his skill set block to block, his ability to catch, his ability to score over either shoulder, his understanding of the game for a guy that's just 18 years old.
Bright future, no doubt. Mason Jones looking for help.
Western Kentucky opens the half in a man. I always like that in first possession just to get the blood flowing, but expect them to go back to the zone quickly.
6 on the shot clock. Jones spins, tries to deal Gafford, tipped out of bounds, and it will stay with the Hogs.
Exactly what Rick Stansberry wanted in his first possession. Establish the tempo right away.
Driving Isaiah Joe has his shot blocked by Banton, and it's going the other way.
3 on the shot clock. Not a lot of options for Joe here. That's an easy block by Banton. This is what I like by Arkansas. Even on the dead ball, go down the floor. See if you cannot make the game a little more chaotic. Because right now, Western is very comfortable connecting the dots.
And the tempo was a big part of that in that first half. The first 5 minutes, they're a little bit shaky. Savage driving now. One-hand layup with contact.
Bad gamble out top defensively led to that.
Savage has got 8. Had a couple three-pointers in the first half. Gafford trying to drive, has it tipped away.
A lot of contact there.
For 3. No good from Banton.
Wide open, though.
Gafford's fighting for the rebound. Can't come up with it. Gafford in the first half, only a couple of points, 8 points. Averaging 18.7 a game. A ways to go to get up there. Hollingsworth able to drill that mid-range jumper. Tavion Hollingsworth now has 11.
He just creates his own space. Very comfortable scoring off the bounce.
Gafford and the bucket.
Most impressive thing about that, Gafford took away the shot blocker's space. Gafford inside touch, but watch the way he immediately attacks Bassey in the chest to take away his space for the and one opportunity.
Named to the SEC All-Freshman team last year, was the only freshman in program history to create some really important records.
I gotta tell you, Sam, this is fun to watch.
Hollingsworth pulls the trigger and good. Back and forth we go here. Western Kentucky starting to heat up from the field. Hilltoppers pull within 2.
So the ball's got to go in there.
Right. Bailey driving, can't finish with 2 hands. Off the back iron, Hollingsworth off to the races. Bassey tripped up. Tavion off the back rim. Banton with the board, goes back up. No dice, Bassey slams it home. Here's Gafford out in the free court. He slams it.
Normally when you're talking about action 94 feet, you're talking about guards. In this game, you're talking about bigs.
The big man in the open court. Hollingsworth starting to take over. Gives it to Savage. Top of the key, good.
Feeling it. Hilltoppers are feeling it.
And Western Kentucky on a 14-5 run. And they take the first lead of the game. Timeout, Arkansas. How about Western Kentucky after coming out of the break, really firing on all cylinders?
Mike Anderson on his team defensively. Get on the glass. Cover the 3-ball. Get on the window. Western Kentucky making a game of it.
In Fayetteville, Western Kentucky has taken the lead 47-46. They went on a 14-5 run here in the second half. Charles Bassey has carried the way, 15 points. Mark, what do you see from the big man?
What impresses me is that his footwork and his hands are connected. What do I mean by that? He understands how to get position with his feet and how to be a receiver and ready to score with his hands. Impressive stuff for a guy 18 years old.
6 for 9 from the field. The Hilltoppers have not really played many games at home. I think you could say they've gotten used to the hotel. We're actually staying at the same hotel as the Hilltoppers, and we're talking to head coach Rick Stansberry. He was saying, welcome home would be nice.
Yeah, 3 of their next 4 are at home. Against Troy, they go to Belmont. That's always a difficult game with Rick Byrd's team. But then they've got 2 holiday games, one against St. Mary's, one against Wisconsin and Ethan Happ, both at Diddle Arena. That should be fun.
A couple of tough games coming up, and historically one of the best mid-majors in all the business. Western Kentucky giving Arkansas all their money and more. It's going to be a hold on Nelson there.
And Nelson trailing the play. Needless foul. Remember, Savage is on the floor with 3 fouls. Western Kentucky lost Josh Anderson to the flagrant 2.
That's tipped away. Hollingsworth and Embry Simpson on the run. And it's going to go to Western Kentucky. Or excuse me, it'll stay with Arkansas.
Arkansas catches a break there. I thought Hollingsworth and Banton were running after that loose ball harder than Embry Simpson was. Here's the 1-3-1. Savage on the point at 6'5".
Embry Simpson throws it away, and Hollingsworth comes up with it. Quickly up to Savage, who's fouled, and he'll go to the line. Embry Simpson was looking for the charge.
Again, bad pass on the offensive end by Arkansas. One-handed pass is picked off up the sideline by Nelson. Great pass ahead. It's a good call. Defender was never set in transition. Savage to the free throw line.
Savage got 11 points, 3 for 4 from long range.
He's knocked down some threes today, and he entered the game in a mini slump. His last three was just 4 for 20 from bonus lane.
Can't convert there. Western Kentucky up by 2. Isaiah Joe with the ball, and he pulls up long range, converts. Isaiah Joe.
How can you run off him defensively? I'm sure Rick Stansberry's wondering the same thing.
Bassey, the big man, gives the ball back to the key. Savage will pull the trigger. He converts. Back and forth we go.
Savage is in a zone offensively.
Chaney out to the break. Reverse. Can't get it to go. Bud Walton Arena not happy with that call.
Sam, we've talked about the bigs, but right now it's all about beyond the arc. First Isaiah Joe, and then Jared Savage. Back and forth we go.
Oh, welcome back. Next Saturday, we'll have another men's college basketball doubleheader for you when Georgia hosts Bobby Hurley and the 20th ranked Sun Devils at 6 Eastern, 5 Central. Then Cincinnati Bearcats are in Starkville to take on the 22nd ranked Bulldogs at Humphrey Coliseum. Well, take a look back at what the freshman Isaiah Joe did on December 1st at FIU. 34 points, that's the most by any player in the SEC this year. 11 for 14 from the field, 10 of those were from beyond the arc. Isaiah Joe has 19 points tonight, 5 for 8 from beyond the arc.
75% of his shots are from outside the arc, making 5 of 8 today. The rest of the team for Arkansas, 0 for 9.
That's something that we hadn't seen before because you've gotten production from Harris, Embry Simpson as well. That has not been the case here tonight. Foul on Tolu Smith. He'll go to the line.
We mentioned this in the first frame. Both starting bigs out of the game at the same time, so it's a battle of the backup bigs. And that time, Western Kentucky's big freshman, Tolu Smith, 6'10", from Bay St. Louis, gets fouled to the free throw line.
Well, let me play analyst here, Mark, for a second. Western Kentucky, no turnovers here yet in the second half. They had 10 in the first half. Probably due to some of the great production they've been able to get from beyond the arc as well, right?
Well, Arkansas is not scoring at a regular clip, so they're not able to apply their pressure as often as they would like.
Osaboyan, no good from beyond the arc, and three-pointers continue to fall off the iron except for Isaiah Joe. Here's Tolu Smith spinning. Under 15 left to go here in the game. Western Kentucky on top, 51-49.
With Gafford out, Arkansas really doesn't have a postman, kind of a five-man motion.
Embry Smith off the mark.
Now everybody else wearing a Hog uniform, 0 for 11 if your name's not Isaiah Joe.
And Western Kentucky has really controlled the tempo here too in the second half. Tavion Hollingsworth in the corner. He's double teamed. Finds Smith, who slams it home. Tolu Smith, the 6'10 freshman.
What a find by Hollingsworth out of the double team on the sideline. I really thought he was in trouble.
Isaiah Joe looking to the sideline. Keep in mind, this is a very, very young Razorback team that lost a lot of production from last year, trying to find the pieces to put it together. Harris from the elbow. That's off the mark. Tavion Hollingsworth in the open court, picks up his dribble.
They've got a mismatch. Osaboyan's on Hollingsworth.
They'll go down low to Tula Smith. Finds Nelson, who puts it up. But Walton Faithful wanted to travel there.
Wasn't very attractive, but he got the job done.
Largest lead of the game for Western Kentucky, 55-49. Osaboyan has his shot blocked. And the give to Bolton. Slammed back home by Smith. And a timeout's going to be called by Arkansas.
Bad decisions on offense. Poor shot selection usually leads to difficulty defensively. The block leads to the run out, but again, Smith, just don't anticipate that your teammate's going to make every shot. Big fellas, run the floor, you'll be rewarded.
A 24-8 run by the Hilltoppers, who, by the way, are 0-3 on the road this year. They're seeking their first win versus an SEC opponent since the 2014 season. Western Kentucky has dominated this second half, and Arkansas has fallen flat. What's been the biggest difference for you, Mark, between the first half play we saw from the Razorbacks and here in the second half?
Well, again, Arkansas is not able to score with any kind of regularity, which means all they're doing now is going back in man transitionally on defense, and Western has taken advantage of that and executed, made shots. Now, coming out of the timeout, another adjustment. Western Kentucky goes back to the 2-3. I'd like to see Gafford in that free throw line area.
Harris driving, and he gets a friendly roll.
You shouldn't be able to do that against the 2-3. See, here's the score, so now you can apply the pressure.
Desi Sills all alone guarding Hollingsworth. Crowd coming to life as Arkansas trails by 6. Hollingsworth pulls up. Off the back iron, nobody there to get the board except Nelson. And Gafford able to regain control. Harris wants the ball. Drive, slams it home. Jalen Harris.
Total confusion by Western. Are we in man? Are we in zone? Is it my guy, your guy? Here's the run and jump.
Banton passes it off. And Bassey there to slam it home. Sills hit the ground. Thought there might have been a push-off.
Now Gafford's got to go to school, Sam, because every time Bassey gets an inside touch, he's showing the ball every time.
Gafford's got 13. Looking for more. There's a three from Jones. Finally, somebody else aside from Isaiah Joe converts from beyond the arc.
Well, you don't become the #1 three-point shooter in the league by having a lot of misses.
Merrick Nelson in the open court gives to Savage in the corner. 4-3.
He is just lighting it up.
Tempo has picked up 6-point lead for Western Kentucky. Driving is Sills. That was too easy.
Western zone is just porous right now. But can Arkansas get a stop?
Look out. over towards us. Possession to Arkansas. 62-58. Western Kentucky starting to relinquish the lead a little bit. Here's Savage in the corner. He's got 18 tonight. 5 for 6 from beyond the arc. And then Desi Sills, the 6'2 freshman, driving the lane. 4-point game in the second half. Got a good one here in Arkansas. Western Kentucky up by 4, 62-58. A big part of the offense for the Hilltoppers has been the 6'5 redshirt junior Jared Savage. He's got 18 tonight, 5 for 6 from beyond the arc mark.
Well, really, they have taken advantage of utilizing some secondary screening action to free up Savage, and he has paid off in a big-time way. 5 of 6 from beyond the arc, and he's in the zone. So what does that mean if you're Arkansas? No longer can you just close out with what I call a parade wave. Your feet have got to be now above the arc, and you've got to be there on the catch.
Western Kentucky has come out firing on all cylinders to start the second half. Desi Sills drives in Arkansas, 5 for the last 5 from the field.
Arkansas may have found something in their driving game. The ability to attack off the bounce.
Desi Sills, a great defender. Mismatch on Banton here. Ten on the shot clock. Savage guarded by Joe. Savage drives, pulls back from the free throw line, off the mark. Down low to Gafford, spins in the paint. Can't get it to go.
Love the battle though, big on big.
Tavion Hollingsworth slowing up the tempo for the Hilltoppers. Down low for Murray, couple of bounces, won't fall.
Good execution though. Hilltoppers got exactly what they wanted.
Isaiah Joe thought he was hit after the shot. Hollingsworth, the alley-oop to Banton. That's tipped off of the score clock. It looks like above the rim, going the other way. Arkansas ball.
And the ruling is it was tipped by Western Kentucky on the lob. Rick Stansberry doesn't believe it. Who tips the ball up in the air? I think that's off Western. I think that's a good call, isn't it?
I would tend to be on your side there. I think they got it right. Nonetheless, a 2-point game here in Bud Walton Arena. 8:40 left to go. Desi Sills with the left hand. Strong finish.
What a lift off the bench by Sills here lately.
Dez, as he's more affectionately known, 6 points. Down low, Bassey spinning, has it tipped away. And a whistle's blown underneath.
This is going to be on the way up too. 2-shot foul. Desi Sills lately has just found his game off the bounce, attacking, getting into the paint. 3 baskets here in the second 20. But Western goes back to their bread and butter inside. I was about to say they had gone 6 or 7 trips without the big guy getting a touch.
Now, prior to those free throws, Hilltoppers were on a 2-minute 32 scoring drought. Not the case, they're back with the lead. Down low to the big man, Gafford. In the paint, tries to slam it home, gets his own rebound, has it stripped away. Hollingsworth trips in the open court. Murray stops at the free throw line, down low to Bassey, has it slapped away, and a foul is going to be called. That's going to be on Adriel Bailey, number 2 in white. 62-64, Western Kentucky on top. Back to Fayetteville, Western Kentucky on top by 2 with 7:48 left to go here in the second half. Time now for our Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate. And who better than Daniel Gafford to follow it up and slam it home.
I talked about him. Gafford is one of the best bigs in the country with his ability to utilize his sprinter's ability into a guy that's 6'11". And both guys, Gafford and Bassey, I thought headed to the timeout were a little gassed. Both were breathing hard. I cannot imagine either will come out in the last 2 segments of the game.
We set it up as the 2 big men, the freshman Bassey and Daniel Gafford. Bassey has 19, Gafford has 13. A back and forth game. Both these teams, you see big, deep breaths from both sides. It's been up and down here in the second half, and Western Kentucky has maintained the lead, albeit the Razorbacks right on their tails.
We talked about Gafford and his improvement from last season to this year. Take a look at the numbers. How can you improve a 61% field goal percentage? It's up to a ridiculous 68%.
Was the first Arkansas freshman in program history to record 400 points, 200 rebounds, and 60 blocks in a single season. A lot of NBA scouts here tonight, not only looking at Gafford, but also Bassey, who hits his first free throw.
Bassey 67% at the line. He's been money, 6 of 7 on the free ones.
Bassey's got 21 points tonight. He's just 3 rebounds away from his 5th career double-double. And keep in mind, we're in game 9 for Western Kentucky.
Hilltoppers back to the 2-3.
Jones, top of the key. Off the back iron, Gafford can't hold it. Up to Banton, who's there, slams it home. In transition, Western Kentucky back the other way. Jones down low, good pass. Into the corner. That's good. Mason Jones knocks down his second 3 of the game.
He's got a great case of amnesia, doesn't he? Like most great shooters. Doesn't worry if he misses 1, 2, 3 in a row. He thinks the next one's going in.
Mason Jones has 10 points. Bassey and Gafford once again. Banton, floater in the lane, no good. Shot clock went off, not called. Strong drive, Denton Sills, my goodness. Back the other way for Savage. And look at this, we have 3 Western Kentucky players at the half-court line saying, hold on, let's catch our breath here.
So is Rick Stansberry. He knows this big guy's a little gassed right now. Cannot afford to take him out, though.
A ruckus crowd here in Bob Walton. Hollingsworth, stutter step. Shot blocked, and a shot clock violation. Razorback ball.
If one thing that's happened in the last couple of possessions is you take a look at Bailey and the quality defense with the second jump to create the shot clock violation. Both teams have got caught guilty with their point guards not being back. So if a teammate shoots and you're under the rim or you're in the corner, you've got to sprint back.
Isaiah Joe on the bench. He's the team leading scorer for the Razorbacks. Bailey's shot, not really close.
I think he thought about lobbing to Gafford, and Bassey smelled that out.
In transition, easy for Savage. Savage has 20. Season high for him.
Good look ahead by Banton that time. Tell you what, you got a one possession game and you're finding easy points. That's a bonus.
Bassey was there, got a tip on it, but Gafford finishes it up. Still a 1-point game, 5:10 left to go. Delano Banton, the 6'8" freshman from Toronto, running the point. Down low to Bassey. Bassey and Gafford battling it out.
I think that's a fatigue shot, though.
Western still in the zone. Desi Sills drives baseline and gets hacked. Foul be on Deshaun Murray, transfer from Auburn.
Sills, the young freshman from Jonesboro, has been fearless in the way he's attacked the rim. I'm looking at Gafford and Bassey both. Both are breathing hard. Gafford's bent over, grabbing his shorts.
Sills can't convert. Couple of changes as well. Merrick Nelson, Tula Smith will check in. Bassey out.
Yeah, this is the under 4 break that Rick Stansbury is playing with Bassey. He's just trying to get maybe a 30-second blow and then the timeout.
Sills 1 for 2 at the line in that trip. We're tied 70 apiece.
Fun stuff.
Doesn't get much better than this in finals week as well. Hollingsworth the hesitation. Kicks to Banton for 3. Got it!
That's just Banton's second made 3 of the year.
Huge 3 for Western Kentucky. They're up by 3, 73-70. Banton finding the open floor. Western Kentucky out on top. Welcome back to Fayetteville. Western Kentucky on top, 73-70. Welcome to courtside alongside Mark Wise. I'm Sam Ravitch. Mark, we built it up. This was the matchup with the two centers. What have you been most impressed about with Charles Bassey?
Well, their skill set individually and collectively, and when you take a look at Charles Bassey, his ability to run the floor, he has a mature understanding of how to utilize that high rent district block to block to create position, keeps his defenders on him. Daniel Gafford runs the floor beautifully for a guy 6'11", plays with such a high motor. We talked about Bassey and Gafford, and they have delivered in a big-time way.
They certainly have. You look at the comparison there. Bassey, 21 points, needs 2 rebounds for his 5th double-double. Gafford, not too shabby either, 15 and 8. Both big men a bit gassed, as is everybody on the court.
And just to keep Arkansas off track, Western Kentucky goes man-to-man.
Under 4 left to go. Western Kentucky has held the lead for the majority of the second half. Jalen Harris driving off the mark and a whistle blown underneath.
Yeah, this is a hold inside on Smith, trying to keep Gafford off the bench. Remember, I talked about Rick Anderson getting a breather for Bassey, so he's still out. Mike Anderson has his big on the floor, but neither team, Rick Stansbury for Western Kentucky, getting Bassey a breather. Neither team in the bonus.
.15 on the shot clock. Jones driving, Isaiah Joe back in the game as well. And the alley-oop foul called on the floor. Gafford getting knocked around a bit by Tolu Smith.
Fortunate break because that pass hit the rim.
3rd foul on Smith.
I don't believe this can be a shooting foul because Gafford never touched the ball. Hard to be in the shooting motion when you don't touch the ball. Again, just 5 team fouls for each squad.
And how about this? Both Reggie Chaney and Gafford in the game right now. Jones driving, he gets fouled, and he'll go to the line.
Well, perhaps Desi Sills has given the key to how to beat Western Kentucky when they're in their man-to-man. Put it on the deck, be fearless driving the ball to the rim.
Mason Jones will go to the line, shoot 2. He's got 10 points tonight. First free throws of the game for Jones. Tonight, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, number 8 Auburn takes on the Dayton Flyers. Also live, of course, on the ESPN app. Should be a good one. Bruce Pearl's club having a good year so far in Auburn. (73-71) now. Jones trying to bring it within 1.
Bassey returns for Western Kentucky.
A couple of big free throws there for Mason Jones. On his first free throws of the game, goes 2 for 2. Bud Walton Arena getting on their feet as the clock strikes 3 to go. 1-point game. Merrick Nelson fouled as he drives baseline, and that'll be against Adrio Bailey.
But again, because of the team foul situation, just number 6 on Arkansas, so no shots here.
It's number 4 on Adrio Bailey.
Remember, Gafford created a turnover earlier in this game, denying.
Delano Banton runs the point. And a shot from Hollingsworth. How about that? Off balance, hand in the face.
Every coach wants a player who's willing to take tough shots and make tough shots.
Tavion Hollingsworth, 17 points. Now a 4-point lead. Jones step back. Got it! Mason Jones.
Ball screen. Western Kentucky went under the screen. Cannot do that with Jones.
Hard-fought battle between both of these teams. Savage for 3. No good. Kept alive, knocked around, ball to Arkansas.
Arkansas caught a break. Rick Stansbury ran the same play they've had so much success with in terms of springing Savage open. I think the officials will go take a look at this since we're inside the last 2 minutes to make sure the ball was indeed knocked out by Hollingsworth.
You can't ask much more. 76-75, the Hilltoppers 0-3 on the road so far this year. Really impressive the way they've been able to play. Take a look at this tip, what the officials are looking at, see who this last touched.
Yeah, that's out on, this will be a quick review. This is out on Hollingsworth. Be Arkansas's ball.
Looked like Hollingsworth got that final touch, the fingertips there.
Well, regardless, both coaches get a free timeout, and players get a chance to catch their breath, get some water.
And it is indeed going to stay with the Razorbacks. Western Kentucky on top by 1. The last time that Arkansas lost a non-conference game, last home loss non-conference, was in 2015. That was against Akron.
If I'm Arkansas, I'm allowing Jones to run the same ball screen again. See if you can strike gold 2 straight possessions.
Minute 35 left to go in the game. Harris dumps down to Gafford, back out. Harris drives, rolls around, picked up by Bassie on the rebound.
Not a bad look, just didn't connect.
Razorback faithful on their feet. Nelson drive, turns it over. Adrio Bailey into the open court.
Gafford just now joining the play. Man, this is what I want. Jones off the ball screen.
12 on the shot clock, trying to find the offense. Harris driving again, doesn't have anything. Joe for 3, has it touched. Gafford's there, puts it back in. Arkansas takes the lead, 77-76.
Western has timeouts. I think Rick Stansbury wants them to play it out.
About 15-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock, and a timeout by Rick Stansbury and the Hilltoppers.
Arkansas really had very little going. Got helped out by a bad drive by Nelson. Watch the little shovel pass in traffic, just too many bodies. You at least need a shot there. Late in the clock, the Joe 3 ball is tipped, but Gafford, Johnny on the spot with the putback in the great hands. He has such great spring, can really elevate from the same spot. He doesn't have to wind up. If I'm Mike Anderson in Arkansas, I'm talking about the play that Western Kentucky runs where Bassie sets a screen and then goes in screens for Savage. That play has killed Arkansas all game long. And if I'm Rick Stansbury on the other end, I'm not going away from that.
A lot of time left to go. 32.3 left on the game clock. 17 on the shot clock. Western Kentucky ball. All right, I'll reverse it to you. If you're Western Kentucky, who do you want the ball?
Well, I'm going to put the ball in Hollingsworth's hands. I don't think there's any question, but I want the action where Bassie sets a screen for Hollingsworth. If he gets something, let him take it. But then Bassie will go screen for Savage. So you've got a 3-man game between Hollingsworth, Savage, and Bassie down low.
77-76. Arkansas just took the lead.
Here is what we're talking about. This is Bassie setting the first screen for Arkansas, and then Savage just pops back. So you've got great option with that little 3-man game in a triangle. High post, low post. And both coaches are telling their teams how important the glass is. Arkansas must have a one-and-done mentality on the glass, 17 on the shot clock. Western Kentucky, I'm sure, Rick Stansbury's telling his team, love the moment, make sure we have somebody back.
Western Kentucky seeking their first win versus an SEC opponent since December 13, 2014. Rick Stansbury, no stranger to the SEC.
Or this building.
Or this building, for that fact. During his time at Mississippi State, Texas A&M.
Now, the first order of business, always remember to get the ball in bounds. If I'm Arkansas, I'm not going to let this just come in. I'm going to apply pressure.
Here we go, a 1-point game. Half a minute left to go. Hilltoppers able to get it in. Shot clock down to 10. Bassie doing work down low. Gafford goes to the ground, Nelson's free. Timeout called. Bassey won that battle. Gafford went to the ground. Couple of big bodies going at it.
Did Bassey get away with a clear out inside? They ran the triangle I talked about, but it was on the side of the floor. Holding off, does he throw Gafford down? Maybe. But how about the unselfish play by Bassey? Take another look. I think Gafford was on his way down before that action. I think that's a good no call from that angle. Now, if you're Arkansas, plenty of time here. Don't panic.
Stansbury out to half court. Some final words to his team.
And Bassey better keep Gafford off the glass.
Gafford's got 9 rebounds, leads the way for Arkansas. 15 left to go. Western Kentucky up by 1.
Western goes zone.
Harris driving, puts it up, slapped away by Bassey. And the ball's going to stay with Arkansas. 1 second on the game clock. How about that block from Charles Bassey?
Bassey rim protecting against the zone. Arkansas utilizes their last timeout. Oh my goodness, has this been fun. Both bigs impacting winning in different ways. Western goes to the zone. The drive by Harris. And waiting inside, Mr. Bassey. And the toes of Hollingsworth on the end line. That's just great rim protection.
Charles Bassey, 4 blocks tonight.
So I think there's 2 things you can run here. One is to have some sort of screen the screener so that Gafford is going to the rim for a lob. But if all that action is too crowded, have a screener come from one side of the floor or a player come from like a Isaiah Joe from the left side of the floor all the way in front where the passer can see him with 1 second, plenty of time for a catch and shoot.
Well, that was going to be my question because we saw Arkansas work on this at length in their walkthrough today. You've got to keep an eye on the big man Gafford, but also the way Isaiah Joe's been shooting the ball. Shooting 50% from beyond the arc today, 5 for 10. Western Kentucky has their work cut out for them.
And the officials are going to go take a look at the monitor because they want to make sure they have the timing correct. There's a good look, and if you are just joining us, we only have 2 officials today.
2 officials, Brian Shea, Will Howard. They're going to add 0.8 seconds left on the clock. A job well done to those 2 officials, too. This has been a back-and-forth game. High-octane offenses.
With 1.8, now what you have, in my opinion, if you run Joe from the weak side to the strong side, he actually has time to catch, shot fake, and let the guy go by and still get the look off.
An incredibly young team. Arkansas facing really their first adversity at home this year. 1.8. They'll go to Gafford. Has it, goes up with it. Can't get it to fall. And Western Kentucky will win here in Arkansas, 78-77. Gafford almost got it to go.
A lot of action in the paint on the lob. Bodies flying. Great finish, and what a great win for Western Kentucky. Controlled tempo after the first 4 minutes. Got the game in a manageable tempo. A big 1-point win on the road.
First road win for Western Kentucky this year. Head coach Rick Stansbury has to be happy. Let's take another look at this lob play inside with 1.8 left to go. Lot of bodies. Gafford almost got it to go.
He almost got it to go after Bassey made the block. Gafford kind of clears out space. Watch as Bassey gets fingertips on that, and I thought that was going to go in.
One more look at this.
creates space, makes the catch. What a great game.
A really, really good game, 1-point game. Last win versus an SEC team was against Ole Miss in 2014 for Western Kentucky. That changed today, 78-77. Once again, we appreciate you joining us. Coming up next, SEC Now for Mark Wise, our entire crew. I'm Sam Ravitch. So long from Arkansas. Now let's head back to the studio.